everybody. Welcome back to the Fans in Motion podcast, the podcast you didn't know you needed, but we're here. I got Josh. Say hi.
Yo.
Brent.
What's up, people?
Brent Gillis. I love that shirt, by the way.
Thank you very much.
So we're here. We're still reeling after. Let me tell you what this week's episode's about. First of all, this is going to be the rarities, right, Josh? The bonus tracks, things that people don't necessarily have or might not even know that's out there. You guys are going to give us some heads up on that stuff, correct?
We're just going to go through the history of Night Ranger. It's just Night Ranger. We're not going to do Damn Yankees or solo stuff, but bonus tracks that they've recorded, unreleased. Well, I won't say unreleased because they've been released, but rare like B-sides.
Yeah.
Some, radio live stuff that's been actually kind of officially released. So we're just going to go through the whole career of some cool stuff that's rare, harder to find. So if you've kind of gotten everything, you can kind of search for some other cool tracks. And some of the stuff that's out there that's not readily available is some great material. So stick around and pay attention, and you could probably put together 2 or 3 additional Night Ranger albums just with the stuff that we're going to mention.
Is this also going to include soundtrack stuff, or is that considered rarity bonus?
If it's different, like with the 1986, I think, or 85, like the movie Explorers, This Boy Needs to Rock is on that, but it's the same version that's on Seven Wishes. So I'm not going to bring that up. Now, there are some movie stuff that's different than what's on the record, and I will bring that up.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I was going to add to that. In some of the bonus tracks, the reason they're bonus tracks is, like in Japan, for example, if an American release came out, it might have come out a week or 2 before the Japanese version. So what the record companies did to hold the Japanese customers at bay so they could keep the money in their economy would be to add the bonus tracks. Right. So therefore, it gave the Japanese a reason to wait for their version, which then doubled it for us. $15 CD became a $30 CD. And then in America, stores started using that as leverage to buy their copy from their store, like a Best Buy or a Target. So,
and I also think with Japan, there was something to do with taxes. So for them to buy, like their homeland Japanese version and not buy like a cheaper American version, and I know it sounds weird because you think, the American version in Japan would be more, they would do the bonus track. So I'm going to have to, see where I read that or something like that, but I think there's a few reasons along, with, like I said, with Brent saying that, sometimes they were released early. Also,
it had to do with the licensing too. Japan, they have to license the releases to release them. So therefore, that's why you see so many different versions on CD of Night Ranger catalog. Sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
All right.
But they have to relicense that every time their editions run out.
all right. And I want to preface this entire episode. Brent and I are both reeling from some kind of sinus attack. So if you see me reach for my mic like this, I'm turning it off so I can cough. Brent's voice is sounding a little different than his normal, jovial self.
It was better than the Van Halen episode, but
and
now
Josh
it's all on my chest. Now I'm of the Ooh, that's nice.
Easy hero.
Now I'm what's her name in Heart? What's the good looking one in Heart? Nancy Wilson.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the drummer.
No, Nancy. No,
Myron Grombacher.
Yeah, Denny Kamasi, I believe.
Wow, this went off the rails quick.
When she sang These Dreams, she had a cold, and I think it was Ron Nevison said she sounded sexy when she sang it that way. So, therefore, she sang that song when she had a cold. So, do I sound sexy, Josh?
Well, good for us. Ron Nevison isn't here to
mislead
you.
Hey. Anyway.
All right, so we are recording this just days after the, at least for our lives in the hard rock music industry, the reeling from the sudden death of Eddie Van Halen. I mean, we all knew it was coming. We just released the episode after a quick recording, and um, I will say this before we let Josh talk about it. I'm still just utterly speechless. I don't really know what to say about this loss. This one hit me just hard. Like I've always lived in a world where there was always going to be potential of Van Halen, and that is just not ever going to happen again. And this guy was just. I've been listening to his music all day today, working at the house, and so we're still reeling from that. We just released the episode. Josh, I don't know if you've got any more you want to add to that episode, or maybe giving you feedback yet on the episode.
Well, a few things I wanted to elaborate on since the episode, and I think I posted this on my Facebook page. And I was thinking about writing something, and you could write paragraphs, right? And I was like, you know what? I've seen people write paragraphs, and I basically said, when you strip it all away and you just get to the skin and bones, the foundation of it, listening to Van Halen made you feel good. No matter what mood you're in, you just couldn't really be in a bad mood listening to Van Halen. And I also kind of look at like their career as kind of like my life growing up, where the Roth era was my younger years, my teenage years of partying and, trying to get the chick and getting lucky on the weekend and, going to the the drive-in and making out with your girlfriend and all that crazy stuff, drinking and being with your buddies and, house parties and stuff like that. And like, that was the Roth era. And then, in your life, you get older and you meet that first girl and you fall in love. You get that first job in your career and, your kids and maybe a divorce and all that stuff that comes into like adulthood. It was kind of like the Hagar years. And I think too, it kind of mirrored how life goes. And then, I think when you get to that point in life where you just give up, maybe that's Van Halen 3. But
Poor Gary Sharon.
but it kind of mirrors that, and I've been watching like a lot of clips and everything, probably like most people have, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about when Balance came out, or all the promotion came out for it. You remember? That was the first time Eddie had his hair cut short and he had the goatee. That was kind of, that was different. It was like, holy shit, that's Eddie Van Halen. But why I talk about that is think how he looked then. And then go watch the 90s. There's an MTV interview with him and Alex after the MTV Music Awards with David Lee Roth. And it's him and Alex talking about how a disaster that was and everything. And look at Eddie then, only a year and a half later, maybe a little bit more. Look at Eddie then and look at Eddie when Balance came out. You can tell there's issues going on. That I don't know if it's alcohol, if it was drugs, if it was, because he had that hip, he was getting ready to have
replacement.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was, opiates or whatever, but you can see, okay, there's something going on there. And then there's also in 1998 in promotion for Van Halen 3, there is definitely search this out because it's really neat. It's MTV and they go do a tour of the Studio 5150. All right. It's neat for the reason it shows you all the tapes he has. It's a room like a whole wall, and it's probably 10 feet tall of tapes. And he said this is where he grabbed a tape labeled 1983, and it had Right Now on it. And that's where they wrote that from. It was actually before Jump. But a wall of hundreds of tapes. So you get to see that. And those tapes are still there. In the last couple of days, Alex Van Halen and Wolfgang said they're going to go through it. Go through them. Now, at one time it was cataloged, but the computer took a shit. They weren't able to ever get it back. But that's the cool part about it. If you look at the bad part of it, he is still not healthy. He's on something there. So, and if you go back, Van Halen was I mean, there was nothing out of that camp from 1999 to 2003. For 4 years, nothing. And then 2004, they did that reunion tour with Hagar, and you can still see Eddie is not in good shape at all. Right. I mean, at this time, there's enough cell phone cameras there's footage out there where you can really see how bad a shape he is. Now, they get back in Roth in 2007. He looks like he's getting better. But there's at least an 7-year window where he didn't look like he was, too healthy. Since we released that video or the tribute video, Sammy and Michael Anthony have come out and did a video where they talked a little bit about it. But there's 3 things I've read I wanted to mention that were really, really good. Sass Jordan, she, after the Roth issue, thing in 1996, and before they got Gary Cherone, they invited Sass Jordan to come out and sing and try out for the band. She ended up hanging out there for like 3 or 4 months. So if you go to her Facebook page, and it's only her Facebook page that she's writing it on, she is writing about those 4 months that she spent out there. And it's a really cool inside look at them, but it's also during this period that I was just talking about of kind of, him not being good shape. And she brings up, a good point about how, she would do this beer run, like the beer and the cigarettes. And one night it was like 2:30 and they asked her to go do it. And she didn't want to go down to the, out that late at night. And Eddie was like, okay, I'll go with you. And he went with her. And when they got there, it was empty he looked like he was relieved that it was empty. And they're looking at snacks and everything. And she's like, out of the blue, a fan showed up with a camera wanting an autograph and a picture. And Eddie just kind of winked at Sass and started signing and stuff. And she's like, this is before cell phones, where people could let people know. She said, before you know it, there was a group of people in there, wanting pictures and signing stuff. And he did that. She's like, we almost had to run away and get in a car just to get away from it so we could leave. And as they're driving back, she started to realize that, that's why he was kind of in 5150 all the time, because a simple thing like just running to the gas station to get cigarettes was a chore, not like a burden, but, she realized that's why he's asking me to go get the cigarettes and beer, not because, right. I don't want to go. It's just every time I go, it's, he was cool with everybody, but imagine doing that all the time. But she also shares some sad stories where, she was supposed to meet him in the studio and he was running a little bit late, and she said he came in, it was raining. His hair looked like Albert Einstein, was all over the place, and he had a trench coat on, and he's like, play that one song of yours. I want to hear it. And she couldn't figure out which one. Then she, I guess, started playing it, and he would just ask her to keep playing it over and over again. And she's like, he was crying and stuff. And then she's like, after the 3rd or 4th time, he pulls a burrito out of his pocket. And the other time out of the other pocket, he pulls out a packet of hot sauce. And she's just like, she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's just one of those crazy things. But it's it's an insight of what, all the stuff that he had to go through. And then Nuno Bittencourt of Extreme shared a story where Eddie stopped by earlier in the year. And it's really good. But the one good thing that he wrote is that he was excited that they were going to get back with Michael Anthony and do a final tour. He basically said that we came in blazing and we're going to go out blazing. But it never, unfortunately, happened. And then there's an article in Rolling Stone with Ted Templeman, who is the Van Halen producer of all those classic Roth albums, some of the Hagar stuff, and did all the demos and stuff. He knew Eddie Van Halen before Eddie Van Halen was Eddie Van Halen. And they were really good friends throughout, their whole life. And he was in contact with him all the way till the end. And just find that article. it gives you some really good stuff about before he was big in the 70s and afterwards. But it also shows how sick he really was. He lost the ability to talk towards the end. So it's amazing that they kept it hidden as well as they did. But if you get a chance, check, like I said, Sash Jordan's Facebook page. Go look at Nuno's tweet or whatever the hell it was. And then Rolling Stone magazine has an article with Ted Templeman. Go check that out.
Yeah, I thought Gene Simmons had a nice one, too.
Yeah, hang on, Brian. I'll let you read that one sec. Josh, real quick on that. Speaking of keeping it quiet, think about that. He was in the hospital, and it didn't leak at all. That's respect, I guess, for his privacy, and kudos for that, because in a world where we live and die by news bites and TMZ, who did break it, they say he was in the hospital for 3 days, and it never.
Well, he was in the hospital before. And was out, but he's been in bad shape for probably a month or so.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention, but him and Sammy had reconnected, and were at least texting since the beginning of the year,
which is good.
And they agreed not to share it because they didn't want reunion stuff. But Sammy basically said, and I quote, "It was a love fest." So, it's good that they were reconnected, but unfortunately it shows you what drugs or whatever can do, because think of all those wasted years and wasted tours, that '04 tour, and it's good that he got his stuff together in the last 10 years or so, but there for a good period it didn't look good. And what's really great too is to watch his son posting all the stuff. So he posted a great picture of him when he was little with Eddie, and he's been posting different things. And I wanted to bring this up before I forget. I don't think this is the end of Van Halen. Wolfie is a really good guitarist. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the clips out there, but he's real
deal. And
there's a clip somewhere, I don't know where it is, but he's in the studio, and I think maybe Eddie's filming, and he's like, just do it, or something like that, right? And he's kind of sitting there like, all right, and he starts playing Eruption, note for note.
Yeah.
He doesn't play he doesn't do the whole thing, but you could bring Michael Anthony back, Alex Van Halen, Wolf on guitar, and either Sammy or Dave. I don't think Sammy and Dave would do it together, even after all this. I think they would go with Sammy over Dave in that situation. But I don't think this is the end of Van Halen, especially when you have a almost 30-year-old person with the last name of Van Halen. I think it can continue on. So we shall see.
Well, I'll put this caveat. It can continue on with him copying what his dad did. I don't think there's ever going to be somebody who can write the way Eddie did. And that's not a knock to Wolfie.
Well, here's the thing. You may not have to with all those.
Get a tribute guy.
With all those tapes.
See it.
Well, I'm saying I'm not saying 20 years down the road.
They can still tour though. I think.
I
think I would probably see that.
I think it could be Alex, Michael, and Sammy or Dave, and him on guitar, or maybe you get guest guitarists in too. There's obviously tons of them that would do it.
It's Satchel from what's the hell?
Steel Panther or whatever?
Steel Panther, yeah.
All right.
Satchel. All right, Brent, you wanted to say something, buddy.
And that was our Fans of Motion Tribute Part 2 to Eddie Van Halen. I was going to say
Gene.
I was going to say I thought Gene's comments were nice. He actually made it about Eddie and not about himself. Had some really good things to say. And what I wanted to say in the episode when we were speaking, when I saw David Lee back in February, and I turned to my buddy Rob because we were just having a ball. Dave was great. It was hit after hit after hit after hit, Tobacco Road, then hit after hit after hit. And I turned to Rob and I said, I forgot how much fun this was. because I hadn't seen Dave in so many years. Haven't seen Van Halen since, what did I say it was, the Right Here, Right Now tour. And it was just phenomenal. And I missed it. It was great. It was great here, and it was sad that they were using all the backing vocal tracks and what have you.
Can I ask, was Dave singing the actual melodies or just
Dave was great.
Felt like it?
Josh was there. Dave was great.
Now, if you guys remember the rehearsal video that leaked or whatever, that was really bad.
That was terrible.
I was front row. I saw him a couple weeks later. It's not great. I mean, it's not David Lee Roth 1980, but it wasn't like that video. It was
a complete turnaround.
The only thing is the band was really plastic.
Mm-hmm.
The background vocals were all piped in, and
they all stood in one spot until the very end. Dave brought the guitar player out.
That's the Ozzy Osbourne model.
And,
yes,
and it's just note for note. It's like I'm watching guitar teachers play more than rock stars. That was the only thing that it was like David Lee Roth doing karaoke. That was the only.
But it sounded great though, didn't it? They were good. That was a good band.
Well, karaoke. If David Lee Roth singing karaoke would sound great. I'm just saying
the band was good.
Yeah.
Well,
I get what you're saying.
There was no there was no life to it. It was
it sounded exactly like the record with David Lee Roth. Like
but he was
singing over it.
But he was fine. I mean, if it was anybody else, if we went to a club and it was someone up there going, yeah, we were like, what the fuck is this? But it's Roth. He gets away with it, and it's cool.
Dave gives you what you expect.
Now, our buddy Logan, he didn't really grow up a Van Halen fan. His take was on it. He goes, I enjoyed it, but I don't know Roth. So I thought he was kind of strange. I'm like, well, if you knew Roth, you would have loved it.
Well, I think Brent, we've talked. I know I've talked to Kevin Hayes about it, but my beef with Roth is that he never sings the melody the way he recorded it, and that's just a sticking point for me. I know some people don't care. For me, it's a real pet peeve of mine because I know you can sing the melody because you did it on record, but once the music starts live on stage, it's just it's monkey time, as Dave would say. He just jumps around and he comes in whenever he feels like it, and that bothers me just a little bit. But I don't want to get off on a Dave bashing. Let's get on with our episode. We can do another whole show of me bashing.
I just want to. And that was one person who the '90s was cruel to, was David Lee Roth.
Diamond Dave. Sure.
I remember.
Well, he was a paramedic for a while, then a DJ. And...
Well, I just remember '94. I went and saw Motley Crue in Louisville, and I was at a traffic light, and it just looked like an old little warehouse, like maybe, just not very big, and it was just run down, and there was a sign up there, like the lighting wasn't even all the way on, like it was just real dim, and I'm like, what does that say? And it said, like Thursday something, it was probably a local band, Friday, David Lee Roth, and like one of the letters had kind of fell down,
Brent was probably there.
I saw him in Indianapolis. I was supposed to see him at what's it, the Klipsch Music Center, which used to be Deer Creek. We used to be whatever. He was supposed to play there, and we were on our way to Indianapolis and found out it was moved to a bar because he didn't sell any tickets. And it was your filthy little mouth tour. No way! Yeah, Joey Wolf was with me. No fucking way! It's Joey's. And what was great was, I remember we walked to the bar, and I looked at Joey. I said, he cannot say, look at all the people here tonight, because there was nobody fucking there. And so he's sitting there playing. He's doing his little sliding around. He goes, look at all the smiling faces here tonight. And I went, well, he figured it out real quick. But the beauty was his bus was parked in the parking lot with all the cars, and he got stuck there. So there was only one way in or out, and we got to the bus before Dave got on the bus and got to meet Dave, and he was actually cool to us. So
that's
that was
awesome,
cool.
Man. Yeah, I love Dave. I mean, kudos to Dave. I just wish he would sing better. All right,
okay.
So
that was part 2 of our Van Halen tribute.
Ed, we're gonna miss you, man.
You know what? We could do this the next 5 fucking episodes and be okay.
Yeah, we could.
I could, man, because like I said, I've been talking to different friends over the course of the past few days, and I don't want to keep
part 3.
belaboring it, but I get speechless. Like I don't even know how to put it into words. This kind of loss. Like when Neil Peart died earlier in the year, as a drummer, I was really like, oh my God, that's that. But I wasn't a diehard Neil fan. I love him, but it's like, Now when members of Kiss start going, it's going to be tough. But anyway,
I think this is. I think even to the general population, this is going to be bigger than Kiss. But
sure.
But for even me, I think this is just somehow even bigger. I don't know. I mean, maybe just because I was a Van Halen fan before I was a Kiss fan, but
could be. I mean, when Gene and Paul go, I'm gonna have. That'd be tough.
I will tell you a cool Eddie story about Joey Wolf. What was the last album called, Josh?
Do what?
What was the last studio album they put out called?
Ow 812.
No.
You talking Van Halen?
Van Halen.
A different kind of truth.
Different kind of truth. My buddy Joey, he loves going around the different cities and meeting the musicians, what have you. And he went to see Van Halen, and he called me. He's like, "It's so cool. I got a different kind of truth on vinyl." I said, "Well, what you need to do is when you find them, you make sure that if they haven't seen it, you have Eddie sign it, the first one I've signed, because I had Bruce Kulick did that with the Union album. I was the first one they ever saw, and they were taking it around. Well, Eddie saw it and was just flabbergasted, going through his vinyl, looking it over, and he signed it. And I think Joey shared it on something, and I think Brave Worlds picked it up, Brave Words, whatever, and did a little story about it. And it was the first one Eddie had seen. He hadn't even seen one from the record company yet. So that was really cool. And then Joey was in another town a couple days later, and Eddie recognized him and came over and started speaking to him. So that was cool. That's a cool little fan story about somebody I know.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about all these tributes is there's a lot of he had like a lot of what they call short-term friends. Like they hung out for a month or two, and then he just, whatever life does, he moved on. But there's a lot of cool stories like that.
You found the comedian I was talking about. I thought it was what's his face, and it wasn't.
Craig Gass. Yeah, that's another great story. Go to Craig Gass, Gass, Facebook, and he lived in 5150 Studio for a while.
Yeah,
so
that's who I was talking about.
Just
Jay Moore.
Jay Moore's.
Hey, so let's
move on.
Let's talk about because like the last 3-4 weeks, I mean, David Lauser was a lot of Sammy Hagar, Van Halen.
Yeah,
it's
amazing the timing that we have.
So
and there's still more to come from that.
Yeah, so let's. Who was the band that we
Night Ranger. We know how to talk about them. That just kind of rolled right off the tongue.
I did. I let you go. I was like, I'm going to see where he takes this.
I was motioning
to the band that we all love from Northern California, Night Ranger. Is there any news that we have to talk about?
You got you got a picture there?
I don't have the vinyl up because.
Oh, he froze up.
That's all right. So we mentioned Dawn Patrol a couple weeks ago, but they are also reissuing Midnight Madness on vinyl. So I think like the end of November, it's Dawn Patrol on purple vinyl maybe, and then 2 weeks later it's going to be Midnight Madness on
blue, I believe, isn't it?
Vinyl as well. Give me a second. Won't you guys talk, and I'll go get the Styx one and just show it real quick what it'll actually look like.
So yeah,
Brent, do you know? Are you going to order those, or have you?
I don't think I'm going to go down that rabbit hole.
It
just because you got too much stuff going on, right?
It's another $50 I can put towards my Kiss vinyl collection,
right?
And Kiss takes precedence for my collection over anything.
Well,
can't help it. So
they're wildly more collectible. I mean, that's part of that, but
and there's so much stuff coming out from them recently that it just makes. I mean, I
would
gotta stay
love
married.
I've told I've told you I really have given up collecting just about everything. I was actually going through boxes today, and I'm making a box of stuff to get rid of. So
See, and I don't open the stuff. I keep it sealed. But Andy, you know that since we were kids, I would buy my vinyl, and I kept it all sealed because I just collected it. I wanted to have every Kiss record. And I think Andy, I think you put that in my head when we were kids. Wouldn't it be cool to have every Kiss album still sealed? I thought, huh.
I probably did. I don't remember.
So
You
he
remember
created
my
the
life
monster
later
that is this. The devil is me. So, Josh, show us that Styx vinyl, what the Night Ranger is going to look
Roll
like.
that beautiful bean footage.
So you
It's
got
not going to look like that.
you're going to have the Obi strip, and I'll post a picture of the Night Ranger vinyl. But it has this Obi strip. It's going to have the original.
Are they coming from Japan?
No. It just.
But they're just doing
This,
it that
it's
way.
not a real Obi strip. I mean, it's designed like it, but it just tells you
I see
there's
what you're saying.
1,000 copies, and it tells you
Yeah.
it has
nice
the
touch to make it a special more edition.
Right.
it tells you it's got the original label art and everything, and this here it's a gatefold, and then the album was like this gray,
Oh,
not very great, but it matches the album color. I mean, it's not a very colorful album. This was a gatefold, and the vinyl sounded good, and I mean they did a good job. And for $25, I didn't buy it right away, the Styx one. Eventually I don't know, probably sold something, and I'll get that. But yeah, it's cool that they're redoing, like I said, the Night Ranger vinyl, and how that works. I forget who had said it, but they're like, is this a bootleg? I mean, how can it be official if it's not Universal? And basically, Universal owns the masters. So Night Ranger kind of owns the song, but they don't own the recording of it. So all those recordings of Midnight Madness, Dawn Patrol, Big Life, Man in Motion, all those were owned by MCA, now Universal. So the band they can do whatever they want with those songs. They don't have to let Night Ranger have any say in it, and they probably don't. Now, if Night Ranger was still with Universal, maybe there would be some communication. But basically, Universal could release these, but there's probably just not enough money in it for them to even mess with it. So what happens is a smaller label like this will license it, say basically, we'll give you X amount of money so that we can have permission to use the recordings and sell X amount of, copies. And they've done that with Damn Yankees vinyl. Well, even the CD, Rock Candy. Warner Brothers still probably owns the masters, but Rock Candy licensed it. But the first Damn Yankees was actually reissued twice. Once in a gatefold that wasn't that great, and then once with another company was actually a little bit better. I can't remember who they were, but they, it's just licensed. So these are official releases. They're not bootlegs. Even if they weren't official, they wouldn't be a bootleg. It'd be more of a counterfeit. But yeah, these are official releases, and it's just cool that we got something coming up. Here in a couple months.
super sweet.
What the fuck is wrong with you two?
That was my Cartman for you.
I got
Brent,
Bee Gees. I got you not doing a good Cartman impersonation.
Sailing away. Do sailing
hey,
away.
screw you. Hey.
All right.
Brent, you got anything you want to add news-wise?
Not to Night Ranger news, other than, like we said, shows got canceled. Shows are getting booked.
I think they're supposed to play tomorrow. They're
That's
supposed
what
to be.
I've heard.
So we'll see how that
I
goes.
saw on Carrie Kelly's post, I think.
So we shall see.
All right, so moving on to fans in motion stuff. Anything we got going on those?
I have a few things. I'm going to take it back first to, well, it always goes back to Melissa Gong. I'm just trying to see on this little screen here what she posted. She posted this cool picture from the Midnight Madness tour with the backdrop of the Midnight Madness, scenery. I don't recall that backdrop, In fact, that stage is very small looking, so I don't know if that's a club. I have no idea. I just don't. I don't
Looks
remember
great, though.
that. Yeah, it was really cool. So I thought that was cool that she shared that. And there's some repeat offenders this week because the repeat offenders did a lot of cool stuff.
If you're watching this now, if you're listening to it, you're gonna have to go to YouTube and look at it. But it's basically the building that's behind them on the Midnight Madness album cover and on the back. If you are listening and remember that, then post it and say something about it. It looks like it's probably just like a tapestry or something, hung up in the background. It looks like it'd be Newport or something like that in Columbus, Ohio. Just I won't say small rock club. It holds 1,500 or so many people, but that's probably what it is. It's just a tapestry or whatever that's hung in the background. And I haven't seen many pictures of it, but obviously there probably wouldn't be just because there's no cell phone cameras and stuff like that. Plus, a lot of times they're not taking. There's not that. I mean, that picture is from probably like where the soundboard is. So most of the time, the pictures we got are press. They're all way up front. You're not going to get the backdrop.
Nothing that beautiful.
So that's a rare picture just to begin with.
So it was very cool. I thought it was very cool to see that. I just don't recall it, even though I saw it at Riverbend, that tour. So, and Andy saw it.
We should
either.
inquire, ask her, is that
well,
her shot?
when did you guys see them at Riverbend? Was that summer of '84 or?
Yeah, that was like
I believe
May or
so.
June. The tickets upstairs now. I can't run and go get my tickets.
So I mean that if that album's released towards the fall of fall of '83.
Yeah, I believe that's the beginning of it.
They're probably still playing clubs, starting out. So they may not have taken that when they started playing the bigger places.
So moving along,
Brent?
we have J.C. Powers did another guitar pick giveaway.
He's the best, man.
Gosh, yeah, really cool stuff. I think 4 or 5 people won picks this time around. I didn't try to enter this time because I felt guilty trying to enter the last time. So I let it go. Besides, I had no idea how to even figure out how old Christie was at the time of the release of that song. I never even saw the answer, I don't think.
Yeah.
So you got J.C. Powers, who does guitar picks and stuff for the band. So
he does stuff for the band. So yeah,
he had a contest where he gave away 3 Kelly Kiggy guitar picks for the drummer. So if
you know why that is, don't you?
It's cheaper to throw out a guitar pick, probably.
No, that and it used to be. I mean, people started getting sued when the drumsticks came flying, smacking them in the head and what have you.
Fuck them.
So it was safer to throw out a guitar pick at the same time.
Well, if they can't catch a guitar drumstick, they probably can't catch a guitar pick. It'll probably go down their throat with their mouth breathing wide open.
Don't give people ideas.
But go to the Facebook page, Fans in Motion, and click like, and you will be able to enter those contests if he has any more, but you will also see the guitar picks that we are talking about.
Yep. And then I called on my buddy Dave. Dave was he was going to post a Night Ranger video of his 10 songs, and you guess the songs, and I said, that's great, but hey, can you do a Van Halen tribute really quick? Because it was, that day. And man, he delivered. Such a great musician. Like I commented, I wish I knew him growing up because he plays all the stuff I like versus all the kids didn't play that stuff.
Yeah.
So Dave, thank you so much for doing that. We appreciate you being on the page and doing what you do.
I love watching his videos and picking out all the songs and watching how they're played. 'Cause I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then I got one more that's the most classic post I've ever seen in my life from Richard Jenkins. Josh even gave him the Internet Award because
Prestigious internet
it's
award.
not going to see me here. Let's just go back to this one.
No, it worked. It worked.
Showing? Okay.
There you go. That's fine.
Put my face.
I mean, it's not fine. But
change the fans' emotion to the logo, and what and my comment was, that is me, and I am I'm all that in a bag of chips. I said, but if you look at the reflection in the dome, I have like no hair on my head. I said that's just a total improper misrepresentation of me. The rest of it's right.
And he did a really good job with the FIM. You know, kind of like how
when you were telling me that, I wasn't hearing that. I was hearing the logo behind me, trying to make it into the shape of that, and I'm thinking, I can't do that. I don't have that kind of time.
You don't listen to me. You don't listen to your wife. It's an issue. All right. So, but what I also liked was
it's what I heard versus what you were thinking. I had already thought about the stripes on the side. Changing these.
No, just the VH instead of VH FIM. But I also like the necklace. Like he did that really good. It's like not even. It's like it actually looks like it's resting a little sideways and everything. So, yes. So
I felt with the quality of his artwork, I felt threatened.
So Andy, when Brent holds out in a contract dispute, and we have to get the next spaceman. Richard Jenkins will be our Tommy Thayer.
Yeah.
Hey, Kirby. Wow. Don't fuck with the artist.
That's great. I just sit back and watch, man.
Everybody's a comedian. That's the best ace I can do.
Is that all we got for the fans in motion? Is that it? We're done with that section of the program?
Sure. Right. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. All right.
So let's move on. Does anybody have any new stuff they want to talk about?
New stuff. What do you got there?
What I have, speaking of Ace Frehley, I have 2 new versions of Origins Volume 2. This one is it's gold vinyl from E1. It was an exclusive online order. I think they made 2,000 of those, Josh. 1,000?
I don't even keep track of it anymore, but maybe, yeah, sure.
Standard version of it, blue and white vinyl, but they don't look like that when you open them. But I don't open them. Yeah. I have I had the black gold one coming sometime.
Well,
that I ordered.
So before Ace has really taken the whole Kiss approach on stuff. There is 7 different versions of these albums. I bought 3, and the only reason why I bought the last one because it looked really cool, and I was like, okay, I'll give in. It was 20 some bucks, but I opened all 3 of mine. It's.
Which 3 do you have?
I got the standard blue one, so he released like a standard blue one. It's just what you get through retailers. I got the original E1 through his company, E1, which was like gold.
That's gold one.
Okay. And then I got the Target exclusive, which is
black and silver. Now, I'm calling. I had to order that twice. Target canceled my first order. I ordered it the day they listed it. 2 weeks into it, they canceled my entire order, the CD and the album. So I had to go back through and reorder it again. Well, I got the fucking CD, but they canceled the vinyl on me.
Yeah, all my spare time, I call them and tell them I'm Mr. Brent Walter, and I'm like,
just cancel everything.
Well,
I gotta cancel that thing, man.
I got a hold of the VP of, I don't know, Affairs for Ace Frehley on E1. And he said he got a hold of Target. And he said he is getting me a copy of it, just to let him know when it arrives. So
yeah, it's just, to me, it's just gotten out of hand. I like it when an artist will release their album and then maybe a variant out there, or maybe a couple months later another one. But damn, he released like 7 different ones, and.
Well,
I even stopped doing the previous ones too. So
he learned from the best.
Target one's the coolest one because on the Target one they changed. If you can see here, there's little aces on these bits of planet floating up in the air, and Target changed. I think two of the. They changed one of those or 2 of them. They made the guitar black, and they changed screen on the back of his head.
All people are wondering is how the fuck do these guys get laid? That's all they're thinking. I mean, yeah, somehow we have people. You know,
we all have kids.
It's got a different color. You know, and I'm the same way. It's like, no, see this right here? Well, here. I had to buy this Japanese Night Ranger Midnight Madness I already had because of this hype sticker. I'd never seen it before. And it's on the plastic or on the shrink. And it basically has, you know, featuring these songs. And it says Night Ranger's second album. And it has the upcoming tour dates. So I was like, I don't have that. I had to fucking get it because it had that sticker.
I have a kid already, so it makes it okay.
Yeah, so, but what's cool is whenever you get an album, I tell everybody, take a good peek inside the album, you know, the jacket. You never know what you're going to find. Usually it's mold, but sometimes, usually you'll find, not usually, but sometimes you'll find something neat. And in that Japanese version, I found these photos in this nice little plastic, you know, so they took care of them, and they're from the Midnight Madness tour.
No backdrop.
Well, it'd be Japan. There's Brad. Where's Jeff? There's Jeff. So it's actual pictures that someone took and put in their album cover, you know, in their dust jacket, and then when they sold the album, they never
forgot about them.
So it's early '83. So anyways, now if you want the absolute best copy of Midnight Madness from Japan, you have to get the hype sticker and make sure that it has the very cool, it's almost like a tour book. But it's like it's almost like a magazine, has different photos and stuff of them. But that comes with the Midnight Madness from Japan. So, yeah, I'd never seen that hype sticker. So, there you go. I had to.
See, that's what the difference is with the licensing from America to Japan. Japan does so many cool things with their product that we don't get here.
Nerds.
But hey, they do a lot of really cool things.
All right, Josh, take us into the episode. Let's start this thing off.
I dropped my notes, so I got to get them real quick.
They
fell in front of me.
50 minutes in.
I mean, let's get to the episode.
Yeah, there's Night Ranger fans going, I know too much about Van Halen, and I know too much about Ace fucking Frehley. All right.
Hey, I'm in a different time zone than you guys, and I'm already tired.
Hey, fuck you, man. Fuck you. So let's go into, and of course we're going to miss stuff, so when we do miss something, you know, leave a comment and let us know. Don't be a dick about it, all right? You know, this isn't easy. Jack Blades does not have us on payroll yet. So we do this in our free time and out of the appreciation and love of the band. So if we do miss something, feel free to post it. But again, we're only posting rare stuff. If you can, like I said, the Explorer soundtrack, the song's the same. I'm not going to, you know, that's more for a collector's edition or something.
Are you going to speak about this at all?
No.
Okay, well, the only thing I want to add about this was when we were speaking about the colored vinyl and the licensing and what have you,
Mm-hmm.
the reason this exists is because Night Ranger does not get money for the extra licensing on. They don't make those decisions, so they go back and re-record the songs, and if they use that version of the song in the commercial, then they would get.
Basically, they're creating a new recording because they own the song basically, but they don't own the recording. So a lot of these bands, Kiss, Def Leppard, Rat, a lot of bands have re-recorded their stuff, and that way, you know, you're going to use Sister Christian. Well, use this version. We'll give it to you a little bit cheaper than Universal would, but then they get basically the bigger cut.
Right.
The biggest one is if you ever watch the movie The Wrestler with
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
There's a scene in the bar, and it's Rat Round and Round. It sounds just like the original. I mean, I guess if you were trying to listen to it, you'd probably maybe spot a little difference. But, it's a movie and you're just kind of watching them in the bar and you hear round and round in the background. I never heard it and go, oh, that's a re-record. But it was. It was a re-record, and they basically got the money over the record company. So a lot of bands do that. And that is kind of the reason why, they do that. Plus, it doesn't cost much and take much time to re-record songs.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I mean, plus you can put that in truck stops and people will buy Night Ranger that has Sister Christian, You Don't Tell Me You Love Me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
almost,
they don't know the difference.
It's almost the greatest. It's almost the greatest hits, and they're getting the money. So starting this all off, you have Dawn Patrol released. There's really no bonus tracks or anything like that. You do have a demo tape out there that they've shown the picture of, has some of the songs that would eventually end up on Dawn Patrol and Midnight Madness, but it's not commercially available. It's not out there in trading circles or anything like that. The one song, Hang On, that's on the demo, they took the chorus and used it on High Road. All right. So not commercially available, but it's out there. The only other thing I'll mention is there are 2 unreleased songs that you can hear on YouTube, Night Ranger or Ranger at Oakland Coliseum. They play Diary of a Madman, and I forget what the other track is, but you can go to YouTube and hear those 2 songs as well.
And that's not Ozzy's Diary of a Madman, right?
No,
that's
no.
Song they had written.
Song they had written, and like I said, there's 2 tracks that they play that never ended up on an album. So you have those 2. Again, they're never released commercially. It's just you can find it on that YouTube video from Oakland Coliseum in 1980. I think they're opening for Judas Priest on that show.
Yeah, that was before Ozzy.
Yeah, so the first probably thing that's out there you can buy is a Westwood One. Westwood One would have like a concert series where the radio show would play, a live concert of a band. Well, this was kind of like a promo. I don't own it. It's expensive. I'm not going to spend the money. Plus, I have the recording. But it is, one album is Mahogany Rush, and the other album is Night Ranger, and it's Night Ranger live from late 1982. So right when they started Dawn Patrol. Okay. So not easy to find, but it is out there.
Is that thing you played for us, Josh, that one time, the album?
Yeah, that was 7 Wishes.
That is the same thing, Westwood One, but it's 7 Wishes.
Just a different tour.
Correct, and it's all
Gotcha.
Night Ranger. And that's the reason why it's so expensive, because it appeals to Night Ranger and it appeals to Mahogany Rush fans. And it's, the Night Ranger is probably only 6 or 7 songs, unlike 15 songs for 7 Wishes, which we'll get to. So you have that Westwood One out there from late 82 radio show.
It'd be so nice if they go back and get the rights and release that stuff, because, that's not for commercial consumption. All that stuff isn't. So,
and why doesn't Westwood One just release it? I mean,
well, usually
they have the rights to release it though.
Yeah, usually those contracts, you sign it, and this is good for so many months, because then you were supposed to return those records. Now a lot of them didn't get returned. So it's a matter of who owns it. And after 35 years, sometimes you don't know really who owns it. It gets a little bit complicated. They own the recording, but they don't own the songs. Night Ranger owns the songs, or Universal maybe owns the songs, but not the recording. So that's why a lot of these like dumps of, stuff on YouTube, like Night Ranger at Oakland Coliseum, that's worth something, but a lot of times, who owns it? It's, stuff's gone out of business and everything, and they really can't release it because they got to get in permission from the band, but the band doesn't want to purchase it because they don't really know who owns it.
Right.
And they purchase it from someone, then out of the woodwork comes a partner from 35 years ago.
Yeah.
And now,
that was a Bill Graham production, so Bill Graham would have owned it originally before he died,
And like I said, it may not be, worth it to license it and everything else from the record company. There are. I'm only going to talk about bootlegs up to a certain point. I don't mind if people talk about and share bootlegs, from the 80s and 90s, but bootlegs that are out now, we're not going to endorse just because they are counterfeits and they do go against the band, and they can be produced really easily nowadays. Stuff from the 70s and 80s and 90s. That's fine. I don't care if someone shows the vinyl, not a brand new CD that has a recording from 84. But there is a live recording from, and I think, Brent, you've talked about this, Cincinnati, January 10th, 1983. Live at the Fifth Floor Studio. So you do have that bootleg out there, that recording. And there's also, I think, from the 84 Midnight Madness tour, Marquette, Michigan, there is that recording out there as well from Midnight Madness. So you can find
those.
Let
me jump in there, Brent. That was January 10th. Is that right after we saw them in Dayton?
Day after we saw them in Dayton. They came down to Cincinnati from Dayton because Kiss, I think, had an off day. And they came down here and did that. Yep, they came down here and did the radio thing, and then went on to make Kiss in the next town the next day.
Well, didn't they also play Bogarts? Didn't we determine that?
Shut up, Josh.
Don't know if they played Bogarts that same day, because that show was at a nighttime, actually at the WEBN studios, the Fifth Floor Studios.
Well, I think we determined that on that tour.
Oh, they played Bogarts on that tour.
They played Bogarts like the day or two after you guys saw them.
Yeah, it was a couple days. I don't know exactly what the date was, and I'd love to go back and find it.
Well, go back to the Dawn Patrol episode, because that's where we talked.
I just don't recall. But I know we were too young to go.
So the other thing from Midnight Madness would be the Live in Japan. Now, this is more video than audio, but I just thought I'd bring it up. This is the Japanese Laserdisc. You can find it kind of, I think, re-released from Japan, the DVD. But you do have the Laserdisc from Japan, so it's a whole performance from Night Ranger on the Midnight Madness tour. The other thing from Midnight Madness would be this. It's a radio. It's kind of like Star Search for the radio. And the 1983 Miller High Life Rock the Richest National Finals radio show featuring Brighton, 24 Karat, Little Sister, Sassy Jones, and City Lights. Basically, it's these local. This is like the finals, kind of. Well, I guess it does say the finals there. So they've had other episodes. And this is like for everything. And Night Ranger has a couple live tracks on there. So I'm not sure if it tells me what tracks they do live on here or not. But so there is, like I said, a couple live songs for Midnight Madness. You Can Still Rock in America and Sister Christian are the two songs they do live. And it's nothing that we've heard out there on anything else. So this is a standalone live version. And what's funny is some of those bands that were in that final were actually pretty good. I was kind of surprised. Anything else from Midnight Madness that you guys can think of that was out there?
Nothing whatsoever.
Well, then the next thing I have is in between Midnight Madness and Seven Wishes, you had Teacher's Soundtrack for, and this would have Interstate Love Affair, but it's a different version than what's on Seven Wishes. So that's why I bring this up. It's just a different mix, some different guitars and stuff like that. So you have to actually get the actual Teacher's Soundtrack to get that version of it. Now, if you go to YouTube, there's a lot of clips that have Teacher Soundtrack, Interstate Love Affair, but it's the Seven Wishes version. It's not the Teacher's version.
Yeah.
And there is a big difference in it. It's not one of those real subtle
That's what I was gonna ask.
Subtle things.
Is there a major difference in the two?
Yeah, I mean you can hear it,
different guitar work, I believe.
Yeah,
longer outro.
Yeah. Now, one thing I guess I didn't bring up that I'll go back to on Midnight Madness. On when you close your eyes.
Yeah,
and
talked about
at
this.
the end of the first verse, Jack kind of holds out these notes. It's hard to hear. That's why I don't really ever mention it. But it was on the Midnight Madness cassette tape was different than the vinyl and everything else. And then on the Greatest Hits CD, they used the version from Midnight Madness. So you have that slight difference in those two songs as well. So
they used the version from the cassette, you mean?
From the cassette, the Midnight Madness cassette is what they used on the Greatest Hits. On the Greatest Hits. So on that is the When You Close Your Eyes from the Midnight Madness cassette. The vinyl had a different version, and you can't hardly tell. So if you got some time on your hands, I did it once, and I'm not doing it again. So there is that before I get too far away from it. So Seven Wishes, you had obviously the VHS live concert that everybody knows. Also released in Japan on Laserdisc. These are the guys that we enjoy. Look at that.
Yeah.
So you have the Laserdisc there, and then this is what we were talking about, Andy.
Yeah.
The Westwood One from Seven Wishes.
Right.
Which, if you get a chance, I tell everybody it's basically a live album that a lot of people don't have. It's been mastered for audio, so it sounds really good. There's no edits. I think Rumors in the Air was one where in the video they kind of edit out some of where Jack falls on the ground and he says,
right.
Hello, Irvine, or whatever. They edit that out. And on there, it's not edited. And the sound is spectacular. That's probably one of my number one things if you're really a hardcore collector to go get is that Westwood One recording. It's 3 records in there from 1985. So,
and aren't those touching on that just for a second? If you can get a hold of one of those, that's actually you've got that probably from someone that worked at a studio in the industry at the time, a radio studio, right?
Station, yeah.
Station.
If you look,
thanks, Brent. It wasn't commercially available. It was something that that was sent to them by Westwood One to play at a time slot.
Correct. So they would get this, and there was a form. And now sometimes these forms aren't in here because they were supposed to send that form to Westwood One, saying when they played it and everything, and they would mail that back. So you can find some where the people didn't do it, and it's still in there.
Yeah.
All right, but
awesome.
This here says Night Ranger for Air 11/24/85, and then it's.
And it sucks that they actually wrote that on there, because they either lost the form or they mailed it back. And
I like it just because it shows, like
it's a little raw.
But but it shows that it was a working copy, I guess. That's what I like about it. Now, what's interesting too is so that they can, have an easy flow. When you have side 1, the back of it's side 4. Mm-hmm. So you would have a couple turntables there. Side 1 and side 2 would be next to it. So when you could go right to side 2 and then put side 3 on. So you didn't have to sit there and flip it right there while you're talking. You would already have it all set up. And then there's usually a cue sheet in there, which it's at the bottom. I'm not going to get it. But it's just a cue sheet where it just gives you basically an outline of the show. So the operator kind of, the DJ knows. It kind of tells you, okay, here's the beginning, what is said. Here's the outro, what's said. So you can kind of keep track of where you're at in the show while you're doing other things.
And they run the commercials on the vinyl as well. Do they not? I know some do.
That one, I think they do. The Mary Turner interview ones, which I didn't do. I didn't do any interview disc. I only did stuff with music. So there are Rockline stuff, Mary Turner interviews and stuff that we've talked about. I'm not doing those just because it's not music related.
But it's funny when you put those on your turn. I remember buying those as a kid, You'd be like, and that was our advertisement from Downey. Now back to the Westwood One presents,
Yeah, it's
Def Leppard.
That's great. I enjoy that stuff. What's the one? Oh shit, I can't think of it right now. There's one from the 70s. Kiss has one from 74.
The Burns?
No,
Media?
no. This is a radio show. Anyways, I buy them because sometimes you can get them cheap with the artists that aren't as popular, but it's just fun to listen to and listen to the commercials. The Mary Turner interview one has Sprite. Sprite is real big in '87, so it's all these Sprite commercials. But yes, the interviews are included.
The new Datsun Z20, whatever. Datsuns don't exist anymore. Yeah. Wild Innocent Youth.
So 1986, Out of Bounds, original motion soundtrack has a song that was never on any Night Ranger album, Wild and Innocent Youth. This is the only way to get that.
Love this song.
Be careful.
Personally.
There is a... and we do think it was... I've talked to someone on the page who asked Jack about it. And the fact that it says it's produced by Night Ranger, we are pretty sure that it was recorded separately, not during the Seven Wishes sessions and left off. We think they came in and recorded it at a later date by itself. But yeah, there's Wild and what I was going to say was on eBay, they were selling a CD on there. It's a CDR. It's not an official copy. If you look at the pictures, there's no barcode. So it's someone creating.
Was it ever released on CD in Japan? I've yet to find
maybe.
Copy.
There is a Japanese version of the record. I mean, nothing different besides an Obi strip and stuff like that. But yeah. So that's probably the big one if you're into wanting a new track, and you can find it I think on YouTube, but. But back in before YouTube, man, you had to search this shit out to find it. So you got the track there. Then you have Secret of My Success. This is a German 12-inch 45. And it has Sister Christian live, but it's Sister Christian from... the same Westwood one.
Yeah, the Irvine Meadows.
But
that was the bonus track we were talking about. I couldn't remember what EP you pulled it off of.
So you have Sister Christian live. If are you okay there, Andy?
I had a blow.
I've got mine here too.
Yeah, only the best. Only the best.
Hey, I swigged a bunch of music right before we came on, so
sorry.
If you
the worst pod in history.
If you guys are just listening to this on iTunes or Spotify, thank fucking God you don't have to look at these guys.
We are sick.
Then you have the 12-inch from
England.
Well,
Canada. Mexico.
I don't know. England.
Get one right.
England.
I was right first time.
So, what is great about this is it does have the unreleased. Well, it was released on this, but not available anywhere else. Girls All Like It, which we think is the track that they left off the album for Secret of My Success. So you have another Night Ranger track that's not out there really available, but it also has When You Close Your Eyes live and Don't Tell Me You Love Me live. And originally I thought maybe these were different because they were produced by Pat Glasser. And the other one is not produced by Pat Glasser, and we know it's from Irvine Meadows, but I listened to it tonight. It is from Irvine Meadows, so it is from that same recording. Mastered, though, for audio, so it's, it sounds good and clear. But you have Girls All Like It, which is, again, a Night Ranger track. It's not readily available out there. It was also released on 45 in Germany and England, so... You can get it a few different ways. And then Secret of My Success, you have this 45 that has this little thing here. It says, The Secret of My Success, special extended version. I put it on. I didn't hear anything fucking extended about it except my misery. Nothing out of the order. I mean, maybe there was an extra riff I missed or something. but it wasn't like it went on forever or
Right.
anything like that. So I guess to round out the classic era, we would just have the Japan in Motion laser disc from Japan, signed by Jesse Bradman.
Well, look at you.
And obviously, we got the audio in the U.S. We got the audio with Live in Japan, but Japan got the video part with, the actual Laserdisc. So that takes us through the classic era, which is actually the easy part.
Have you ever done? I've never thought about looking for the Japan version of the CD. Is it the exact same as the American version, or do you think they actually
I own
put the
it.
bonus stuff on there?
No, there's no bonus tracks.
Okay.
I don't even think on here. I think what's on the video is what's on the CD. I'll glance real quick, but
We have
nope, it's the same. 12. There's 12 tracks, right?
12 tracks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just that there's the video out there. So that's the classic, the classic era. Really, you just got some of the live stuff, but you have the two songs, "Girls All Like It" and "The Wild and Innocent Youth." So that's the classic era. Anything that you think we missed?
No, I started my notes out at Neverland.
All right.
So
Well, I'll jump in a little bit. So, before Neverland. So, there is this bootleg that's out there. It's called Still Alive and Well in 96. And it's got Night Ranger, Kelly Kagi, Brad Gillis, and Gary Moon. But the recording is actually from the summer of 96 with Jack Blades, Jeff Watson, and Alan Fitzgerald. So the cover has Mojo Night Ranger, but the audio is from...
How did that happen?
Yeah.
You got to tell us a little bit about that.
they do that all the time.
Yeah, it's on
Somebody
bootlegs.
not doing
They
their
don't know.
job.
They just don't know.
They just don't know.
They used to come out of Italy, or they said they came from Italy.
This is
hide,
Well, you can see here we can still rock in Japan is on the CD. So I don't know anything about it, but it's got it's just for shits and giggles. The set list is Touch of Madness, Rumors in the Air, Seven Wishes. Pretty much what you would think. They do play High Enough and Coming of Age there. The encore was Girls Got Rhythm, and You Can Still Rock in America.
Okay.
Now, here is I don't want to. I'll save the story till we get into there, but this has a nice little story to it. This is
the greatest hits from Japan.
correct.
Different version though.
So there's the album cover, Rock Masterpiece Collection. Now there's really no new music on there, but I thought it was unique enough just to show it if you're going to collect. I mean, there's nothing that you don't have that you can't get anywhere else. It's a greatest hits with 4 songs off of Rock in Japan. But it is kind of unique. It has a different cover, so that's why I showed it. And there is a little bit of story behind it, which we'll talk about when we get to the Neverland era. So before Neverland, Night Ranger released New York Time EP. I think this was released before. Let me double check here.
Yeah, I don't know if it. I just knew of the CD coming out. I think it was probably about the same time. That was the CD single. That's my guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, 326. Give me a second here. 326. Talk amongst yourselves real quick. Actually, they may have been released on the same day.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just a single to accompany the album.
So, New York. What's on this? It has "Don't Tell Me You Love Me," 97. And it has You Can Still Rock in America 97, the karaoke version.
Karaoke.
So I think one of those may reappear somewhere, but...
Yes, it does. Rock in America 97 reappears on Neverland.
All right.
Japanese.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct. I got it right here in front of me. So this, now in Japan, we're getting a little more carried away, but in Japan, the song Walk in the Future is not on the regular Neverland release. It's only on this. But we can get that in the States, so we're not going to really hit that. So this New York Times EP would have You Can Still Rock in America 97. No, I take that back. Hold on. You on this, Brent.
Oh, no.
You can
Still rock. Don't Tell Me You Love Me 97's on that.
Hold on. Yeah, so on this, You Can Still Rock in America 97 is the karaoke version.
Yes.
On Neverland, it is the band version. So this has 2 tracks that you can't get anywhere else. You Can Still Rock in America 97 karaoke version, and Don't Tell Me You Love Me 97. Whereas Neverland, the Japanese version, has You Can Still Rock in America 97. So there's 3 tracks that are kind of hard to get that are out there. Clear as mud, everybody watching?
Yeah, I had the karaoke written down, but I had above it Don't Tell Me You Love Me 97, and I had the arrow pointing over to Rockin' America 97.
Yeah, you fucked that all up.
When you guys say karaoke version, is it just
it's
a
track?
No
it's just a track without vocals, maybe backing vocals.
Literally a karaoke version.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you have this Forever All Over Again single. It does have a little hype sticker on it, and it's got 4 versions of Forever All Over Again on there. It's got a Top 40 radio mix, rock radio version, more string version, and the album version. So if you really, 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 really like Forever All Over Again and you want to hear it 4 times in a fucking row, there you go. All right. Cruising right along. This is probably the track I talked the most about.
Yes, you know what it is, Andy?
No.
It's a crazy, crazy track.
So, Night Ranger releases in 1997 the album 7, which should have been called 8, but I digress. So, the bonus track in Japan for the album is Let Him Run, a re-record. So, they re-record Let Him Run. So, Let Him Run 98 or whatever, So, you have that. But they left an album or song off of the U.S. version of 7. And it is on the Japanese version. It's not listed as a bonus track or anything like that, but it's a song called Crazy World. It's a ballad sung by Kelly. And to me, it's one of my favorite Night Ranger tracks. I always talk highly of it. And the Japanese version kind of has a cool booklet that comes with it, so I always put it in front.
He uses it as the front cover.
Because that album cover is just shit to begin with. So, it's like they were like, "Hey, how can we make Neverland the shittiest cover ever?" And 7 was like, "Hold my beer." But
What's wrong? What's wrong with that cover? It's the band.
Yeah, come on. I mean, at least have a cool pose or put Fitz in scrubs or something. I mean, it's just like
Fitz grew up. He had a baby by then.
They all had. Well, Jack Blades had a baby during Midnight Madness.
But Fitz grew up.
Anyways, then you have this. This came out 98, I think, in Japan. It is a greatest hits. Again, a different design. That's the only reason why I'm showing it. But it does have the Don't Tell Me You Love Me 97 and You Can Still Rock in America 97 live. I guess I'll have to look and see if that's different from the You Can Still Rock in America 97 that's on Neverland, because that doesn't say anything about being live. So we will get back to you on that. But this has basically a greatest hits from Neverland and 7. So it's got New York Times, Sunday Morning, Forever All Over Again, Don't Ask Me Why, Sea of Love, Soul Survivor. But then it's also got 4 live tracks from Rock in Japan 97. So it's just something different, not very common. cool to have. It has a good booklet in it and everything. So there you go. There's the 90s. Anything that we're missing? I don't think there's any other unreleased stuff or anything like that.
Well, when did Hole in the Sun come out?
Well, you have the Japanese and European version coming out in 2007. And
okay,
you want to talk about bad album covers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is 7. It's like we're the worst album cover, and then Hole in the Sun comes in.
They were hiding Michael Lardy right there,
And Hole in the Sun comes in and says, "Hold my beer." What's funny is there's a graphic designer out there who probably got paid a nice little check to do that. Anyways, so yeah, you have this Japanese version. And is your CD case like kind of
thicker?
Yeah, it's different. The acoustic or the bonus track on the Japanese version is "Don't Tell Me You Love Me" acoustic. Now I didn't get those, and so I haven't listened to them. But two things that I forgot to grab is VH1, I think, released 2 CDs around this time period called Metal Stripped, maybe.
Yeah, I don't have those.
And each one has a Night Ranger acoustic track.
I think I have one of these CDs.
Yeah, so there are those out there. And
you don't know where it is.
I was trying to think.
What's crazy is, I Like the Way You Shake, from Don't Tell Me You Love Me. It sounds like Jack is saying, "I like the way you shit." I mean, it's almost like I'd have to fucking it's almost.
They're going to use it for a Cologuard commercial.
I mean, you have to stretch your imagination to hear shake. I mean, that's did he say shake? I'm like, I don't think there's shake in there. It's like, so if you get it and you guys hear it, let me know I'm not the only one. Don't Tell Me You Love Me acoustic. Plus you got the different album cover. Is there a sticker in there too, or something like that?
There's a sticker in there. And the cool thing about the sticker is exactly that's what's actually in front of mine. It's a sticker.
Yeah.
For the purpose of it keeping it flat so it doesn't curl up. And the coolest part about it was the Obi. They put the logo on the back of it.
Yeah, there's if you look at some of the Jack Blades ones and the Kelly Kagi ones, they do that too on the back. I think the Jack Blades one's really cool.
Yeah,
Josh,
there's your sticker.
You can't show it to you, but what you're looking for, that metal, it's called VH1 Classic Metal Mania.
Metal
strip.
Mania. There's a 1 and a volume 2.
Sister Christian on volume 1. I'll endeavor to find volume 2 here.
Volume 2's then Don't Tell Me You Love Me.
Okay.
I know that was one of them, and because there you go.
Yours did come with that, didn't it?
I don't know what's in it. I mean,
you can get it on Amazon for $3.99, $3.96 actually, if you want it.
What's that? Oh, the metal strip?
Mania strip volume 2.
Well, there you go. Someone spend $3.99 and get it and see if Jack Blades.
Oh. The nice thing about this show that I noticed we've brought him up a couple times. I'm going to bring it up for the sake of the conversation. Chapin went out and bought this because we spoke about Crazy World before. I know some other people were turned on and went out and found Crazy World. So it's cool that we're actually helping people know about stuff they didn't know about prior to this. So
well,
Hey, Josh, let me also throw in real quick. There is a volume 3 out that has High Enough on it.
I stopped getting them. It was just
okay. I didn't know if you were aware of that. I'm just trying
I knew there were more after. I didn't know how many. I never bought them new. I think I bought them used, and it's like I don't mind it, but if I'm going to listen to Nobody's Fool by Cinderella, I'm probably not going to go grab the stripped down version. I'm going to go listen to the rockin' version. So I just wasn't grabbing it enough. The only reason why I really bought them was for Night Ranger. But yeah, Brent, what you were saying was, I got a lot of people asking about Crazy World because I mention it a lot. I know we've got people buying the classic vinyl, where people are always showing. Tom was showing some of the vinyl he bought, and I can't remember who it was, but she went out to a record store and bought Big Life and had it on her record player. So it's cool seeing that. And then I know we sold some copies of the Midnight Madness and Dawn Patrol releases that are coming out on vinyl, because I posted Barnes and Noble and Amazon, and people were like, it was harder to find the Dawn Patrol one. You had to like do a different search or some shit. And they were able to, they're asking me how to find it. So, yeah, Jack, put us on payroll, buddy. So this came out 2008. Rock and Shibuya 2007. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But
I can compete. And let me tell you about this. Can I tell you something about this real quick?
Do we have a choice?
I never had it. And last summer I went ahead and just got it because I didn't have it. And I was bitching because I had to pay like $28 for it. So then Andy hadn't seen it, and I was showing it to him one night, a couple months later. And now when you go to look for this on eBay, they're up to like $89 to $120.
And guess what? You don't even have the Japanese version.
No, I don't. This one's from England. I got it from England.
It's a cool CD to have. Like I said, there's nothing new on it, but it is the only thing that's released with the lineup of Michael Lardy and Red Beach. So Red Beach is on the cover, and it's a good recording. I mean, but there is a European and a Japanese version. Nothing different on them, but
that's why I went ahead settled for the European when I found out there was nothing different whatsoever. Because the Japanese, like you said, they always do it better, but it is just your standard Frontiers records in England. I don't know what it is in Japan, if it was still a Frontiers.
Kind of surprising it wasn't released in the States, but
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a really good package. I mean, as bad as everything around it has been, I mean, that's sad, but, that's actually not too bad of an album cover and booklet.
And it's the only release where they use the skinny logo and your regular size logo. So somebody really didn't know what the hell they were doing in the art department that day.
But the person that did this album cover did. This is the Hole in the Sun, the U.S. version. Different cover, same stuff. There is bonus tracks, and I use that word loosely, on the U.S.
The whole album bonus tracks?
Pitch and roll.
On Hole in the Sun?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the rarities and hits?
No, I'm talking about how it's just seems like throwaway tracks.
Well, I don't know about throwaway tracks, but it's definitely a different album. But the bonus tracks on here, Don't Tell Me You Love Me acoustic, Sister Christian is acoustic. I think I listened, and those are the same that's on the Rarities CD. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. If you got time on your hands, go do that for us and let us know.
I don't even own that version. I have to buy that version, and I've just been so lazy, and I've never bought that version, and I've never bought the American version of 7 since I've got the superior one from Japan.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Then you have this. Boom, boom, boom.
Yes, you do. Yeah, prick.
The Night Ranger box set from Japan that has the mini LPs.
Also known as the box.
And I cannot,
so cool.
I cannot find my my Big Life. I have the CD. I was listening to it when we did the episode, but I don't know what the hell I did with the cardboard sleeve. So,
well, it could be in any one of those slots behind you there.
So you guys can't see.
Speaking of Eddie Van Halen, that's it right there.
Records here, Dead Body there, more records over here. So it's here somewhere, but yeah, I mean that's God. I haven't even seen one go up for sale forever, so I don't even know. I got mine not too long after it went on sale, $100, which. $20 a CD for Japanese remasters. I jumped on it and got it. So
there's one I think on Amazon for like $234.
Really?
And I'd love to have it.
Though.
It is.
I would too.
Yep.
Now is the box just a cardboard box? I've always wanted to ask you that and I always forget.
So you have like the Obi strip is
it's a full piece of paper.
It's got the back, and then the box is. It's like a glossy cardboard.
Okay. It's like the rat one then.
Not the sturdiest, and then you got the albums. in there, and it says Night Ranger box on the top or whatever.
That's very cool.
So that takes us through the 2000s. Now we're going into, unless you guys can think of something.
Nope.
I don't think
we're getting somewhere in California coming up, I believe.
Growing up in California. There you go. The Japanese version. The only bonus track I know out there for that album was L.A. No Name.
That is correct.
So
That's
outside of the bonus tracks they had on
I love that song.
Amazon, or not Amazon.
Well, you had
iTunes.
You had an Amazon bonus track that you could only get record by downloading it from Amazon, and you had an iTunes bonus track the iTunes one is one or the other. I can't remember now, but one is it Dirty Deeds?
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
So it's
Coming of Age.
It's Night Ranger doing Dirty Deeds by AC/DC, and then the other one from
Featuring
Amazon is Night Ranger doing the Damn Yankees song Coming of Age, and it's got an extended solo with Ted Nugent. So it's Night Ranger with Ted Nugent. You can get the Amazon one real easy. I think I was able to find it on my phone, through my Amazon Music app. I think that's the one. But so anyways, I guess you had 3 bonus tracks from somewhere in California. Physical copy, Japanese version, L.A. No Name. And then the downloads, iTunes Coming of Age, or I don't know which one, but one's Coming of Age with Ted Nugent, and the other one's Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Then you have, and I don't have it, the Japanese version of 24 Strings and a Drummer. Or maybe this is, I don't know, is this the Japanese version?
Well, the American version came in a, what do you call it, digipack. Yours is in a jewel case like mine. And the only there's 2 bonus tracks on here, Boys of Summer and Touch of Madness. Boys of Summer is pretty much, I think that's a bonus track on Amazon if you download it.
Show me the back of yours where it says bonus songs.
Back of mine. Here, let me get it.
All right, so mine is different. Mine has, I see it. Mine only has Boys of Summer, and then it has the surround DVD bonus materials, Night Ranger All Access, Growing Up in California music video, and the making of Growing Up in California. So I think, is yours Japanese or European?
I think mine's Korean. See, there's a hype sticker.
Yeah, mine don't have a hype sticker. So wherever the hell mine's from, it has a CD bonus song, Boys of Summer. Yours has Touch of Madness.
Touch of Madness.
So we know at least those 2. I guess we'll have to look and see if there's actually a Japanese one.
Japanese one, I think it's exactly the same. But I got mine from Korea off eBay for like $22, and that's what they're going for. And it comes, of course, with the DVD in it of the show.
So I got to get the Touch of Madness one. Apparently, I don't have that. So, even though that's probably one of the CDs I've listened to the least.
Well, you got to look for this one with the hype sticker.
I don't have to do shit.
No, that's the one you're going to find it on.
You'll do it and like it, Spalding.
Just educating you.
All right, so now let's go to High Road. This is going to get a little confusing, I guess. Let's start with the U.S. version. There is the U.S. version that just has the 10 songs. There is a U.S. version there's 3 bonus tracks out there for the U.S. version.
But 2 different versions of it.
There's some that only have 2 out of the 3 bonus tracks, okay? The one copy that has all 3 bonus tracks is the Best Buy version. Some of them have this sticker on there, basically, buy it here first and you get all this shit. So, the bonus tracks are L.A. No Name, which was the bonus track on the Somewhere in California album.
And that's on the standard jewel case version of the American release. That's the only bonus track that came on the standard jewel case.
All right.
It's versus a digipack from Best Buy.
Then you have Mountain Song, which obviously you guys know I enjoy. And then another great song, Don't Even Know Your Name.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 additional, L.A. No Name that we've already talked about, but Mountain Song and Don't Even Know Your Name. If you do not have those 2 songs, go track them down, especially Mountain Song. Mountain Song is one of the best Night Ranger tracks out there. It should be on the album. Don't Even Know Your Name should be on the album. this is probably why I don't have, I'm not on Jack Blades' payroll, because I'd probably get him in a headlock and ask him, why isn't Mountain Song on that damn album? But Best Buy, go get it. Now you have the Japanese version that has Mountain Song as a bonus track, but it does have another bonus track that's only on the Japanese version, and it's live from the M3 Rock Festival. It is Lay It On Me Live, which Lay It On Me is from somewhere in California.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that song that is on the Japanese version as well. So you can get the other bonus track, Mountain Song, on U.S. stuff if you can find it, but Lay It On Me Live is only on the Japanese.
Yep.
All right. Moving right along, you have 35 Years and a Night in Chicago. Here's the Japanese version.
Yep.
And as far as I know, the only bonus track is 7 Wishes.
Yep, that's the only one on there.
All right. So 7 Wishes is the bonus track on that. So search it.
Plus, we have Andy Parker and Gary Kelly, on it, and it's
I
on the
was
booklet.
there.
And the booklet's actually really well done. They're getting better at that stuff than they were the decade before. So,
in the Japanese version that we have, that Josh and I have, does not come with the DVD. It's just the 2 CDs in a jewel case. So don't when you get it, if you go looking for it, you'd have to buy the Blu-ray separate. That's what I had done. I know, Andy, you got it during Christmas.
Yeah,
you ordered it from Amazon and brought it over. It's got a DVD with it, and I was like, well, then why are they selling the Blu-ray separately? Which that's what they were doing. Now I believe the Blu-ray's out of print. So good luck to y'all.
all right, the last one. Don't Let Up from Japan. As far as I know, there was no special U.S. release with like bonus tracks or anything like that. The Japanese version, it doesn't really have a new song, but it does have an acoustic version of the track on the album, We Can Work It Out. So you just have the acoustic version of a track that's already on there.
The only thing the American version did, they released 2 different versions, one in the jewel case without a DVD, and one in the digipack with a bonus DVD with the music video.
And if you guys don't know, Brent hates the digipacks and all that shit.
Yeah, so I always had to go get the jewel case versions too.
I don't fight that battle. I think at one time I used to not like the digipacks, but I think more I like them now. I don't know.
It's just that here, it's going to look like that forever. And while I take care of my stuff, it's easier to take care of a jewel case than it is a piece of cardboard.
True.
With the cardboard, I keep the shrink wrap on it.
I just download it from iTunes. I don't own any physical
Well,
copies.
yeah.
I'm the anti-Josh and Brent.
When I die, no one's going to give a shit.
When I was doing the Kiss Room, and there was about 100 VHS tapes in there, and there was my 2 Damn Yankees ones in there with the shrink wrap still on. They look brand new like the day I bought them still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to eventually downsize. I mean, I've stopped buying. I did it a while ago. Now I just mainly vinyl of the bands I like. I will buy vinyl of other bands if there's a good deal on it. Amazon, I used to check Amazon a lot just when I was bored, just because you'd see a $25 album for some reason that day, $11. I'm like, yeah, all right. You don't see it as much anymore, but yeah, like I said, I just buy just some of the re-releases. I try not to go too far down the rabbit hole anymore, and Brent will tell you I've sold some of my Kiss stuff that's just been released and it's hard to get. The Dress to Kill and red vinyl, and I'm probably going to put my double platinums up for sale. And just
what? Did you see what happened with the double platinum?
Mm-hmm.
They people who had damaged copies, they didn't tell them, they just shipped them new copies. They had some extra ones printed up. So now now it kind of throws a kink into that where there's more out there than what were initially pressed.
Don't care as long as I get a little bit of profit on it.
Well, no, but people were taking the $200 version of it and trying to sell it for $500, where it was easier with the Dress to Kill because there was only about 300 of those pressed because of the COVID, and then many of them got damaged. So that thing became an instant collector's item. Mine came perfect, thank God.
Sell it.
Yep, that's what I'm.
How much did you get for that red one?
Red one I put up like $275, $300, something like that.
Yeah, and it was, and I think it was $40, and that was released in April, May is when we finally got it.
Buying these things just to buy and sell, just to turn them over.
You do that with the Butch Walker. You got that. The Butch Walker is good.
But the Kiss market's a hell of a lot bigger.
Yeah, but still, the Butch Walker are so limited. If the fans don't get it, they'll pay for it.
But back to Night Ranger. We're going down a rabbit hole again. That is pretty much the whole history of like B-sides and rarities and stuff like that. And when we do an album focus, maybe we'll talk more about it. I'll talk a little bit about the whole MCA release in Japan, the greatest hits, and some of the others. But we'll have to. I know we've probably talked briefly, and we'll go deeper on it with Neverland, the different order of the Japanese version versus the American version. Yeah, there's all kinds of...
Which threw me off. I was like, what? Because I had listened to it in a certain order, and then when I got another version, like, what the hell's with my CD player?
Yeah, well, we've talked about it briefly before, and I don't want to go down too much this time.
But
yeah, it's kind of like, what the hell you guys think? I mean, who the hell leads off an album with Forever All Over Again?
Yeah, I remember I didn't know there was going to be different tracks on it or different mixes at all. Yeah. I just went and bought it because one, I had a bet with my buddy Herb that it was going to be a hit album, and so I went and bought it just to support him, and I lost that bet.
Didn't work.
So but I was dead set that was going to be a hit.
So yeah, if you know of a Night Ranger track that we missed,
send it to us.
Leave us a comment on YouTube or on the Facebook page, what we missed. If you're listening to this, click subscribe on YouTube. The website and us being on Spotify and iTunes and all that other stuff will be coming soon. It's a work in progress. We're almost done. We can see the finish line, just like Kiss Magic, the book. But inside joke. If you don't know it, you don't need to know it. It's
coming
dumb.
Soon for past 4 years. Coming soon.
So there you go. Other than that,
it's not affiliated with Kiss, by the way. Let's put that out there.
Yeah, I did some simple math on it. He's at least got $250,000 from people.
Yes,
at least.
And you know about this?
No.
This guy's putting together this all-comprehensive book about Kiss. Literally, like it's like a calendar. So on June 1st, Kiss was doing this, and he has a picture from June 1st. And he's got pictures that he's paid from photographers that you've never seen. And he shows them on and Josh, it's beautiful stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
but he keeps promising a release date, and that release date gets 6 months down the road. Well, now we're 3 years into it.
Longer. I would say we're going on 5.
God, and he's still taking orders for it. But
sounds like some Ankh Warrior stuff.
Then he had some problems where he had to return some people's money, but he didn't have the money available to return because it was locked up in these books. And
it's because he's living off of the money.
I believe it's going to come. I believe the guy is really going to put it out. It's just he's got a whole rash of problems that we don't even know about.
He has to release something.
Yes.
Even if it's Xerox pages, of paper or something, he's got to release something.
And it's not a cheap book. It's like
it was $100 a book, and then he had some bonus books or something nicer. So with they were limited, like 500 and 100. So when I just did the math on those, and then he started to open it up for more sales, I got up to a little bit over $200,000 that he's gotten. That's what I was able to like just find just with simple math, So I know he sold some other things after that. So that's where I was saying he's probably almost $250,000 in. But I never did. You buy it?
No, I did not buy it.
I didn't either. I don't buy usually the books and stuff like that. So
I figured there's no reason for me to pre-order it when I could probably just buy it when it comes out.
So, guys, what I will end it with is go dig out Van Halen 1. And it's just crazy to think at one time in the world this did not exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we kind of, just take it. It's always been there, so we don't think about it maybe too much. But at one time, this was brand new. And these songs were new and fresh and just different. And
yeah,
it's
remember when I was a little kid, I couldn't stand looking at David Lee Roth because he always looked like a woman. The way he'd pose with his, his flamboyant eyes, and I didn't realize how actually cool he was until my teen years.
Probably one of the greatest debut album, but probably just album number one.
One of the best.
How did the remaster sound?
I thought the remaster sounded great. I mean, it had a little bit more volume punch on it. I'm not probably the expert to ask of that, but I wish they would do the Hagar releases, especially 5150 and OU812. Yeah, if you guys haven't, and I think Andy, you said you weren't really familiar with Balance.
Right.
I would now Balance at the front of the album. There's two songs I don't get into: Big Fat Money and Amsterdam.
I heard Big Fat Money today.
Damn, I like Amsterdam.
But after that though,
the best thing about Big Fat Money, you put your earbuds in and hear that coin spinning, and and how a coin will just keep wobbling until it settles. It's a great recording of the coin. It really is.
But yeah, the Aftershock, Take Me Back, Deja Vu, Feeling, some songs that aren't, singles are all really good. Seventh Seal, the lead track off that album. Man, if you got a good stereo system, put that in there and just crank it. So, yeah, if you're at home, go listen to the Seventh Seal. Very cool. Sammy Hagar
I'd say
song.
end it with Brent had touched on the Gene Simmons thing, and I have the quote in front of me, and he said this to the BBC News, and it says, this is Gene Simmons talking. So, quote, here's a piece of advice for all of you. You go grab the nearest Generation X or Z, whatever the hell they're called, or they call themselves, or millennial. You grab them by the ear, take them away from the stuff that's being played, and sit their asses down and let them hear Van Halen so they understand what greatness is. Gene Simmons. And I can't disagree with that. I mean, that's, we all love Kiss, and that's him saying, go listen to Van Halen. And he was there super early on Van. He tried to get them signed, and he saw something that he saw him raw when we didn't see him.
Do you know who he went to see?
Mickey Rat.
He went to see The Boys. The Boys featured George Lynch.
Oh, okay.
That's who he was going to check out, and Van Halen was opening.
Yeah, well.
So, let that sink in.
That's just something that, our kids' generation, they'll never be another Van Halen. I mean, I used to think to myself, and I could never write a book, but I always wanted to write a book called Who Will Be the Next Van Halen? That was literally what I was going to call the book, because there's never going to be a band. There hasn't been a band like Van Halen since Van Halen.
And will there be?
No, I don't think so.
Well, we owe the whole genre of the 80s really to Van Halen, because they're really what sparked the LA Strip. Mm-hmm. And once the LA Strip got sparked, then
that gets us back to our previous episode, Brent, when we were talking about it, and you brought up Ace Frehley. It's like the difference is Eddie inspired an entire
he did
genre of music, essentially. And the closest thing these kids today have is Greta Van Fleet, I think, is the closest you have to a modern rock band.
And they're pretty much over now, so.
Well,
and they're good. I'm just saying.
and
What else is out there? I don't know. What else is out there?
rock stars,
Foo Fighters?
rappers are the rock stars nowadays. I mean, that's what it is. And
yeah.
but we we us old people go, but in 1976 when we're going, Kiss is the rock stars. Our 45-year-old parents were going, fucking Elvis and Buddy Holly are the rock stars. And when those parents or whatever were going, Elvis and Buddy Holly are the rocks, are the stars. Their parents were going, hey, man, you don't know anything about Perry Como. Let me tell you about Perry Como. So, the person who really got me thinking about that was Fitz. The one time I talked to Fitz in 96, I said something like, hey, I hate today's music, Smashing Pumpkins and all this stuff. And he just said, and I don't want to quote because I really don't know exactly, but the feeling from him was every generation has their own music. It doesn't mean that this new music is bad. It's just every generation has their own. And that's why I don't get, all the stuff that's out there. But, I'm also try not to be that guy. It's, you guys just don't know,
I'm that guy.
But my parents had, Fats Domino and the Beatles, and some of that stuff is fantastic. It wasn't part of my stuff, but I saw the Smashing Pumpkins in concert because they were there, and Pearl Jam was the opening band when nobody knew who Pearl Jam was. I went to see Pearl Jam. Andy, you went and left. I remember, didn't you?
The thing is, regarding today's music, I mean, I have a 15-year-old daughter who insists on me listening to her. I'm air quoting for those of you that can't see us that are just listening. Music, there's no staying power. There's no innovation. There's no musicians. It's guys just talking fast over someone else's beat
or slow.
I'm not saying that it's. I am saying it's crap, but my point is
crap.
There's no. You won't be listening to what my daughter's listening to 50 years from now. The way that we still listen to what the Beatles did.
Maybe the Beatles, but when, like Beatles, I said,
Hendrix, Aerosmith.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I was in the military. I was in Afghanistan 2013. A lot of active duty when I worked there. So that means active duty was a bunch of kids from the age of 19 to 23. Number one, baseball was dead. Okay, to that generation, baseball will die because no one got into baseball. Basketball, everybody was into basketball. Sure. All right. So there was that. Just something I realized there. But music, hip hop and the country music now, I'm not saying it will last or whatever, but if I brought up, and even my, now 16-year-old stepdaughter, I play, she likes rock music, like newer stuff, Black Veil Brides and Falling in Reverse. And there's good stuff out there. People always say there's not good stuff out there. There is. It's just, it's newer, and we're old. We're not out there seeking it. But she listened to Van Halen, but, it was just okay to her. It ain't like she ever asked me to listen to it again. She would rather listen to her music. And I tell you what, kids 18 to 23 years old, when I was over there, and I would talk about Black Sabbath and Dio or Deep Purple or Van Halen, some of the groups I just remember bringing up, they may know the song. They would know Jump. Okay, I might say Jump and they might not know. I might have to play it, but they don't know, and they don't care. They don't. And so eventually 100 years from now, it's just going to, none of this music's going to be remembered except for probably a song or two, maybe from an artist. It's a Van Halen will be Jump, and maybe right
talking
now
about love.
I think that 100 years from now, I think that even goes away.
Well, but the thing is, 100 years now, people will still be talking about Eddie Van Halen.
True.
The way they talk about Les Paul.
True. I'm just saying that.
But yeah, I think you're right.
I'm just saying
depends. Will that instrument survive, or will it all go by techno?
I think there's enough youth that still wants to play guitar and rock, but
because now everything you see on stage, they got that little box, and they got these little buttons, and I'm thinking.
But again, like I said, Greta Van Fleet rose out of the same generation, and whether you like them or not, they are a rock band playing rock music.
Problem is, I think most of the people like Greta Van Fleet were probably
older,
or of our age. It wasn't. It didn't rejuvenate any rock craze out there.
Yeah. Nothing's rejuvenated rock more than the video game Rock Band.
Rock is somewhat alive. You just
gotta find it.
Like I went and saw 3 or 4 years ago. There's an arena over on the Kentucky side in Cincinnati, BB Bank Arena.
BB&T Bank.
Okay. We saw Night Ranger and REO, Andy.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was that
Kentucky University.
It was that arena, and it was 4 newer bands like Neck Deep. The band that I took my stepdaughter down to was Sleeping with Sirens, and then there was a I don't.
I'm
either.
just going. No, keep going.
I don't know. I didn't know either, but they, if you go to like Hot Topic, you'll see a lot of Sleeping with Sirens shirts. Okay. And
same with like Him. I don't know who Him is.
And there was another band that was after that, but they played to half of that arena, and there was a lot of kids there, 18 to 21, 22. I was the old parent there. Now it took 4 of them to, sell tickets, but they were young kids. Now it's not our rock and roll, but it's rock and roll, strobe lights and all the same shit we've seen, just some, different, different little bit of different rocks. So it's out there. It's just, I don't know if it'll ever come back.
Have all the good times gone?
I don't know, but I don't know how the hell it got to be 12:01. I just looked at my computer screen. I'm like, oh my god!
Because you two nerds know too much about Night Ranger.
Well, half of this episode's been fucking
EVH,
Van Halen, Ace
I told you,
Frehley,
Van Halen Part 2,
and us talking about the future of rock. But
look, man, the man died, and he just deserves it. He deserves the credit.
What was it on Rayman? The local station here in Cincinnati, Andy. The future of rock and roll.
97X.
97X.
The future of rock and roll.
The future of rock and roll. 97X doesn't exist anymore, by the way, folks. It went away about 3-4 years ago.
97X. Bam. Future of rock and roll.
And Josh is unplugging things.
I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
But yeah, go listen to some Van Halen. It was cool. MTV Classics the next day, I think, or that day. I can't remember.
You were talking to me. You got me hooked on it. I went straight to that channel, started watching it all day. It was great.
And I mean, it was on a loop. I mean, it's like there are some more videos out there you guys could play. But
the video for Pretty Women. How about that?
Yeah.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah. But
you know why that wasn't played on MTV? I taped it off MTV on a Halloween night when Dee Snider hosted a guest VJ spot. But the reason that wasn't aired on MTV because it was transsexual, transvestite. Yeah. That's why MTV wouldn't show the video. Now they'd be like, "Hey, give us your best transvestite video because we're all about it now."
It's just a horrible video.
It's funny though. Anytime you put midgets in a video, gold.
Oh, we just lost that
Spinal Tap. Little people. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
I spoke to a little person one time and I asked him. He's like, I'm a fucking midget. I'm like, okay.
All right. Well, there goes the Eddie Van Halen tribute. It was nice. We got the midgets a lot sooner than I thought. But it was cool seeing the videos. But the only thing it kind of hit was they would have an all black screen, and it would say in memory of Edward Van Halen and his birth year and death year. I was like, shit, man. It's just you remember these videos when they were new on MTV, and now you're watching them on, classic a tribute to him passing away. And like a video I really enjoyed watching was When It's Love, because it's just them in that bar playing. And it's just, and what's crazy is just you see, Eddie looks so young, in those videos. It's just like you've almost seen his whole life. We really saw a life arc there. And
there's speaking of the videos, there's one video that seemed awkward to me, and it might be off balance. Is Can't Stop Loving You.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're never shot together. The band's all in separate rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that was an awkward phase for them. Like
it was
they
a
were
COVID thing.
Yeah, I don't.
Not back then. It wasn't. When I'm watching that video, I'm like, I wonder if they're just
syphilis.
No, I don't think there was. I mean, there was band strife, but they were still doing stuff together. I just probably the way the video was shot. Yeah. I just like Sammy's Sears and Roebuck sweater shirt. It's nothing. It just looks like something I own. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, I've never had this same wardrobe as Sammy Hagar, but
you watch all these super groups of Frontiers puts together. All their videos are like that. George Lynch is not even in with Michael Sweet, or whatever. I don't know. I'm using probably the wrong pair. But there was something that came out with George Lynch in it, and it's a singer that I think Josh has mentioned or you mentioned before. Yeah. That's a newer guy. That sounds like Dio kind of, or can't think of his name.
Well,
did it with Joel Hoekstra. What was the last Joel Hoekstra one?
Dino or whatever.
The Jane. That guy.
Jane. It's that guy. I believe it's that guy. And he's with George Lynch, but they're not even in the same country, filming these videos. So
Van Halen video I always thought was different and weird was Dreams because they're not in the video.
Yeah.
Well, you know why, don't you? They didn't. I mean, they refused to make videos for that album because they knew the album was going to be bigger than anything in the world, and it was going to be on TV. So, the Blue Angels used that as their theme song. And I think Warner Brothers, since Van Halen wasn't going to give them a video, went ahead and used the Blue Angels. Yeah. And MTV used to show the shit out of that thing.
Yeah. Well, they did a video for Best of Both Worlds.
No, that was off the Live Without a Net.
Well, it's live, but it's still a video promoting.
But it wasn't. They didn't record a music video.
Concepts, I think, that's what they were saying. Is they didn't want to do. I don't know why, but I remember them talking about how they didn't want to do any videos for this album
because they knew it was going to be overhyped as it was, and they just wanted it to live off the music, is what they said, which I just didn't understand.
Did they do?
It was the same reason why Metallica finally did one, because they had to do a music video.
What was the music videos off of 0812?
Finish What You Started.
Yeah, I know that one and When It's Love. Did they do one for Cabo or Feel So Good?
No.
Feel So Good, yes.
Did they?
Yeah, I believe so. Here,
where did Black and Blue come from? Was that 0812?
Yeah, it's 0812.
Didn't they do a video for that?
They do one for that or Mine Oh Mine?
I don't believe so. Hang on here.
And while we're just going down the rabbit hole, a great song off the Sammy Hagar Never Say Goodbye album is Hands and Knees.
Yeah, that's a good song.
That's Hands and Knees. That's... Forget it. I'm thinking something else. Go ahead.
I did. I just did.
You just did.
All right.
Yeah, Feel So Good had a like a montage of the band playing behind the like Sammy be superimposed on the screen. It was like a movie thing. Here, hang on.
I get the drift.
Well,
I will YouTube it.
The effort.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
remember that now.
God, I almost forgot about that song.
Such a great song. It's a great album.
When Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony did their video together, I was surprised how old Michael Anthony looked.
Skinny. I mean, he's very skinny too.
Not that. I mean, he should look old. I mean, he looks better than I do. But and plus, Eddie just died, so I'm sure he's, it's been a rough 24 hours for him or whatever when he did that. But just looking at those two guys, and I probably seen a video of them 3 months ago, and I didn't really look at it the same. But now that Eddie's died, and I look at them, and it's just like, the guy.
Sammy's starting to look older too. Finally.
Well, Sammy is
74.
Sammy turns. No, I think he turns 73 here in a couple days.
Yeah.
It's almost his birthday here in 2 or 3 days. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is only going to keep happening.
Yep.
The next 10 years is going to be rough, especially for all the 70s stars, like Springsteen's and the Dylans and
Ozzy's coming out.
Ozzy and McCartney and Ringo Starr and the guys in Pink Floyd and Alice Cooper.
What are we going to do a Deadpool here? I got Keith Richards.
No way.
Dude,
I'll take Ozzy.
Dude, Keith Richards go.
I'm taking Keith Richards.
You can't kill him.
You're marked.
Yeah.
You're marked, Keith.
He's yeah.
He just looked at me and said, "Fuck you."
There's this guy right here, Mick.
Give me. Where's my cigarettes? Give me.
John Lennon would have been 80 today.
80 today.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Imagine.
All right, Andrew, sign us off before we just fucking keep talking and lose more. Hey, if you are still here listening on the YouTube page or on the Facebook page, go type, give them a random word, that like a code word, like so we know how strong we are. Go type the word burger. Burger. Which one do we want him to put? The Johnny Fever one?
Yes, Booger.
Or the Booger Chef one?
I was thinking Booger McFarlane. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That's a whole other conversation. Why does he call Booger for? His mama called him Booger, probably, man. He just grew up with it. Anyway.
I'm going to call him Clay.
Hey,
I'm
hit
calling
the
Clay.
subscribe button. Share.
Andy, sign us the fuck off.
Do whatever you got to do.
Who cares? I can just hit the end button. No one's here.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. We'll see you on the next episode.
We're done.
Van Halen Part 4.
Stop talking.
Just another kid